Hello, my name is Lizzie. Welcome to my channel, and for today's video we are going to be talking about the new Netflix movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So if you have been living under a rock and you are not aware, Netflix has released a new sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this one, they did it very similar to the way that the new Halloween films did, where it basically ignores all of the previous sequels and is supposed to be directly after the original 1974, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And in this one, we are following a group of, I don't know if they're supposed to be Gen Zers or millennials, not really where they fall in that realm. I'm gonna say probably Gen Zers, I feel like. And two of them are very famous chefs who are basically buying the town of Harlow. It is now a complete ghost town, and they have been able to obtain the deeds for all of the, or for almost all of the remaining buildings. But when they get there, they stumble upon a family still living in the orphanage, and a bunch of crazy stuff ensues, and we are reintroduced to Leatherface. And you find out pretty much in the beginning of the film, and if you've seen the trailer, this isn't really a spoiler, but that Sally is, of course, still alive, and she spent several years as a Texas Ranger hunting for Leatherface and was never able to find him. And she does make an appearance in this. Granted, it is actually a different actress playing her, because the actress that played her in the original is no longer with us. She died quite a while ago. And so that, I like the fact that they have that character reappearing, which is really cool. Obviously, kind of going off of Jamie Lee Curtis reappearing for Halloween. But it is kind of disappointing that we obviously had to go with a different actress. But I think that the actress that played her did a really good job in this. I was kind of expecting more of her. Not that that was necessarily a big part of the advertising for this film. They show her in the trailer, but I was just hoping for a little bit more. She kind of pops up towards the end of the film, which is fine. I mean, I'm happy that she's still in there. These new set of characters are definitely very interesting. Obviously, you have ones that some of them aren't great. They kind of do and say some things that aren't necessarily great. At times it is kind of hard to feel bad for some of the members of this group of friends, but I definitely feel bad for, and I think you're supposed to, our main protagonist. I think she's kind of the main protagonist. There's sort of two in these. It's a pair of sisters, Melody, who is one of the chefs, and her younger sister, Leela, who, that's the one I mainly felt bad for in this film. It is revealed that she was the victim of a school shooter, which I know some people are going to feel weird about, kind of the, I mean, some people would say it's like social justice aspects of this film, but I was okay with that, and I mean, it's realistic. That shit happens. People go through that. So definitely trigger warning for mention of things like that, and some flashbacks. And I definitely loved her character. She's definitely a sympathetic character while still being pretty badass by the end of this film. Now, some little moments that I made note of and definitely loved in this film. For starters, the way it opens zoomed in on this kind of 90s-ish, I would say, made-for-TV documentary talking about the events of the original, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and as if it was like a real thing that happened in Texas, which, I mean, it's slightly based off something that is, but we start to zoom out from that until we are faced with our main protagonist, who's seeing that on a TV screen in a gas station in the middle of Texas. So that was a really cool way that they opened it and connected it to the original. They used footage from the original film, which is really cool as well. This one definitely had some scary moments. It was definitely like a bloodbath for sure. There is a scene on the bus, which I felt kind of iffy about. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen this part. he comes on the bus and everybody like pulls out their phone to like film him, and one of the characters makes some comment about like canceling him, which I think was really stupid. I definitely think we're gonna have a problem with a lot of these newer films that are coming out where the film creators are kind of trying to think what they think Gen Zers and like late millennials would do, and it kind of falls flat in some spots. I definitely think there were moments like this in that. I thought that scene was okay. It was definitely, I mean, if you're looking for a bloodbath, that scene definitely was. But that was kind of one of the only things I really didn't like about this film. There were a lot of other cool scenes as well. This film has its own, I think, iconic door scene. Obviously the original one has the where Leatherface like slams the door. That scene is definitely iconic, and this one has a really cool one as well, where Leatherface has grabbed one of the characters, and there is a swinging door, so every time it like swings and opens, you see what Leatherface is doing to this character, which I loved that scene. I thought that was so cool, and definitely one of my like favorite scenes in this film. I definitely think its own iconic door scene. There is also a part where one of the characters, it's trying to use one of those like old school, because again this is a small town, like police radios, and you hear it on the other end coming through that same gas station from the beginning, and she's saying like, he's wearing her face, and that part just like, gave me so much chills. And it happens very early on in like the Leatherface action, and so it definitely just kind of like set up for the rest of the film. Definitely get that like, oh, here we go feeling, like it's starting, and that part, like I said, it gave me chills for sure. So all in all, I actually did really enjoy the film. There wasn't a lot about it that I didn't like. Like I've said in the past, if you're not new to the channel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not my absolute favorite slasher film of all time, but I definitely have an appreciation for it, what it's done for the horror community. We wouldn't have, I think, a majority of the iconic slashers and probably my favorites that we have today if it wasn't for that original film, and I think that this one did a really good job and paid a good homage to the original. I don't think that it took anything away from the original. Obviously, like I said, it kind of ignored all of the sequels, which I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's more funny, I think, than the first one. And this one does not. And this one stays, I think, in the darker, heavier realm. There's really not much funniness to this film, which I think was a really smart way to go as well, and I really enjoyed it. So let me know what your thoughts are on this one, especially if you love the original. Let me know how you feel about this one, and I hope that you did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more horror related content, and I will see you all again later with another video. Bye.